Welcome back to the Hit in the Turnbuckle podcast. This is the NWA review show with me, of course. I call myself AC now at the moment, air conditioning or whatever you want to call it. And the Hit in the Turnbuckle's answer to Edith Bauman, Miss Fiona Lochran. How are you? Do
I'm good. I'll take that. I like Edith.
you know why I said that? She was on MasterChef last night. That's a
I forgot
professional.
to watch that.
She
Damn
was
it.
on Celebrity MasterChef, and I was thinking, oh yes, it's our version of Fee on. Hence why you called that. But is Scotland as sunny as Cornwall is right
It's beautiful today. I've been stuck in the office all day though, so
now? I've been stuck on the beach all day. Well, just thought I'd throw that in there. You know,
thanks.
you were in Texas, for wherever you was recently. Where was it, Texas, or where you was, or wherever you went to? You left me in the lurch for a week or so to do these reviews.
My bad.
Yeah, oh man. But anyway, let's crack on. Thrill of the ride. This was this week. Obviously Latimer and Thrill Billy can't play. I was a bit surprised that didn't main event. To be honest, I was quite.
Yeah, me too.
I
Me
was
too. Like,
very.
not that the main event was not good,
Oh
but
no.
yeah, I was expecting that to be your main event of the show. But
I think considering the story with them two and the fact that Thrill Billy had dropped the title to go to
yeah,
AC3, Latimer won it, there was a story there, and I just felt that the King Bees one wasn't a story as such because there wasn't a background behind
no.
it. But nevertheless, hey ho, it
They
wasn't.
obviously had their reasoning. I
Yeah,
mean, sometimes we don't understand NWA reasoning, but they obviously had their reasoning behind it. So
exactly that. A couple of bits of news and signings. Kylie Page was probably the most obvious one when they said about contracts and Birchall being another one, which is
Mhm.
interesting. I haven't seen Birchall in a while.
We haven't, no.
And NWA. Well, you've got a theory about something which we'll get into during the show that Birchall may form a part of. The other thing that actually broke, well, we'll say last night actually, is obviously someone that we're going to be speaking to is Kylie Page very soon, and she is now in the hunt for the Burke or whatever they call the race for the Burke.
And the
Um,
Burke Invitational.
that's it. Thank you. I'm going to get it right one day. And interesting enough, we've been saying for years on here, we got one half of what we was looking for when we had the Ella Envy Kenzie Page one. Could we eventually get Kylie Page against Kenzie Page? And could it be at
I'd love to
26?
see that.
Oh,
I would really love to see that. They've grown up with each other. They know each other inside out. They've trained together. They run Crossfire together.
yeah.
I would love, love, love to see them go one on one.
Well, I'm going to have to ask her that because obviously it could obviously due to timing issues when we do eventually sit down with Kylie, it would just be me, unfortunately, unless you get a lucky one like today where you've managed
Yeah.
to both and jump in. But I'll ask her that for sure. As always with these cold openings, it was great. Although, be it, we both had issues again with the app. I'm not saying with the app. I suppose it's more the app than the NWA this time, right?
I don't know what was going on with mine last night. So I didn't have my laptop, I had my tablet, went to switch it on, saw the first couple of seconds, basically right up till Silas calling Tom a cook, or cuck, I should say, sorry. And then my screen just I got the audio and no visual. So I ended up rebooting a couple of times, tried it through the website instead of the app, it still didn't work. Ended up watching it on my little tiny phone about that size. So,
That's
but
how I
I got to
normally watch
see
it.
it, so
Yeah,
that's all that
exactly.
matters.
I was having fun and games with it just downloading from so what my from my VPN I have to click the episode, it downloads onto the phone and then I get to watch it and it just wasn't downloaded, strangely enough, but it did it in the end. It was late last night, late Tuesday, by the way, but I managed to see it. So and as we've seen it, let's get on with it. Cold open was always great. Thrill Billy and basically it was the interview from last week with some
It
highlights.
was. But I love the story of the two of them.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a huge long story,
No.
but I love how they've kind of revisited it and how Silas never actually lost the belt. He gave it up for his title shot, and Tom's been keeping it warm for him, so to speak, and doing a damn good job of it as well, I might add.
He has, but the thing, Phil Willie did say that because he's English, he doesn't belong. The title doesn't belong with him because of the, nice bit of what's it, nationalism, I suppose.
Yeah,
Is that what you'd call it?
whatever.
Whatever, yeah, to start off. But again, Dills and Galley in the booth, as we come accustomed to. No Billy, although Billy's not been there for a couple of weeks now, I
Mm-mm.
don't think, on this. So now I love this. The start of the match. So they had the Kill City Cup were the sponsors of the first match between Knox and Murdoch, and I got Chant and
Charles Bison and Chant Matthews.
Thank you. Was there? I've got one on this, and I want to ask the NWA while we're on the show. Look, listen, if the Hit in the Turnbuckle could sponsor a match for Knox and Murdoch, could I send the Turnbuckle champion Mark True and Kieran Lacey over for a match?
I'll accompany them to make sure they get there.
I know you would. I just want to see them get their asses handed to them by Knox and Murdoch, to be quite honest with you. That would be great. So yeah, Billy, look, if you want to sponsor and you want us to send a tag team over, let me know, and I'll make it happen. That's a
I'd be
Knox and
down for that.
yeah, I'd love that. They tried to. They've done the most. Well, I say, was it brainy or stupid what they done? Well,
Like the sneak attack at the start.
yeah, yeah.
Why would you do that to Trevor and Mike? I mean, really, come on.
It was such. I remember watching it and I was like, I don't know whether that's brave or stupid. It turned out to
Yeah.
be stupid in
Hmm.
the end because once Mox and Murdoch got back, well, once they just got rid of the cobwebs, they absolutely annihilated these
There
guys.
was a massive double chop at one point in the corner, and I was just like in the turnbuckle, and I was just like I can't even remember who took it, but they were going to be feeling that for a very, very long time.
I think so. They did do. I mean, they that the high low turned Matthews inside out.
That look, honestly, like that looks hellish. I would not like to be on the receiving end of that. I mean, there's a lot of wrestling moves I would not like to be on the receiving end, but that one in particular looks nasty.
I think they meant that one a little bit.
Okay, maybe they did.
So with the threes don't jump Knox and Murder, which is something else that I could picture True and Lacey doing. So and then I'd love it just to make, but they have to hit the high low on True. That would just decapitate him.
Poor
Like,
bugger.
you're a champion, and if everyone was like, "Well, that's very nice of what you're saying to your champion," but yeah, I'd love that. But no surprises that Knox and Murdoch did win. They do. We'll get into their interview in a bit because they do have a bit of a chat going on with what's coming up at the. I'm sure it's a territory show they're doing
Hmm.
because it's got to be. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I did make a note here. The crowd was hot for that. It
Yeah,
was hot for the whole
understandably
show.
so.
Yeah, I mean they love Knox and Murdoch, don't they? The crowd and I still like the
And,
Immortals.
and why not? Who doesn't love Knox and Murdoch, let's be
Well,
honest.
you kind of get an idea of what would happen if you didn't just
That this is so true. Yeah, good point.
by watching that match. Speaking, I don't know what to make of this Joe Kazana now because I don't know if he's heel or face, right? Because the last
Okay.
couple of promos he's done have come across kind of heelish in
Hmm.
a way. He did make a note on this one when he said that AJ Kazana will be teaming with Taylor Rising at some point to go against Brian Idol and Mark Over. Interesting.
That at the territory show that's coming up
It's
potentially.
not it's not on next week, but I would imagine it's going to be taped for one of the territory shows. Obviously, they're repping Joe Kazana Promotions, a big match for Casey next week, which we'll get into later. But yeah, quite interesting. Taylor Rising, was she a part of JCP before she went
She's
there?
been in NWA for a little while now. I don't
Hmm.
know what her home promotion is though. To don't have a clue off the top of my head.
Hmm. I didn't know if it was JCP because they're obviously teaming with AJ
Yeah,
to take
potentially. Yeah, that would make sense, I guess. But
to take on the power couple, shall we say, in WA to a degree, or looks that kill. Idol and Markova. We'll see. Now, the next thing you had a theory. We was talking just before we started the show today, and you said to me, "I've got a theory about the Only Slams," and it was
not a
because of this
theory
book.
as such, but like the whole Only Slams thing, obviously we don't know who it's about, who
Hmm.
it's regarding. But then last night I was watching it and I was like, maybe it's Birchall.
Birch?
Sorry, Paul, if you're offended by that and it's not you, but
I didn't
I
say.
don't know, just the physique of the person, a little bit of body hair, and the kind of size of them. And obviously he's just signed. So I was like, potentially Birchall, but then the flip side of that is it could be someone completely new.
Yes, could be. Could we don't know. Could be someone
I
from the
still don't even
territories.
know what it is. Only
No.
Slams.
Only Slam. What would you? What is it? What is it? Just before we move on, we just say that Joe Garley's wife just about to have her C-section. Just seen the tape. Just seen a tweet.
Is Ivy here?
Not yet. The 6 minutes ago, he tweeted, it's time, it's C-section time."
Oh,
So I'm
I
guessing.
knew she was going in today. Oh, hope it all goes well. I'm
So
excited for them.
I would imagine before we end the show that that probably would have happened.
Well,
C-section.
by the time this airs on YouTube and stuff, little Ivy will be here. So
Congratulations to Joe and family. Hope, well, imagine it will be okay with a C-section, but we'll look forward to seeing some pictures on socials once you're there. But if it does happen while we're on air, I will let everybody know because I constantly refresh the X button, shall we say, while we're here. So we'll keep an
yeah,
eye
good
on.
luck, Shelby.
Yes, good luck indeed. Now we were talking about this at the start of the show. It's time for Thrill Billy and Latimer. The feud that I thought this was going to be main event. I really thought it was going to get there. Obviously, Thrill Billy never lost the championship. He got the lucky seven. He had to go against EC3, unsuccessful with that one. This was very hard hitting, wasn't it? This.
I love this. This did not disappoint me one tiny bit.
No, there was like, I mean, they were knocking each other over the top rope. They were brawling into the crowd. There was a nasty shot into the steel stairs at one.
Yeah,
Latimer took a big one to the stairs from,
but Silas really worked Tom's back in this match.
yeah,
Really went for it. Lots of kidney hits, lots of like there was a couple of big drop kicks, good some arm drags and stuff like that as well. I think that actually made that was Tom on Silas, sorry, I should say. But Silas really went for Tom's back in this match. Really kind of went for it to try and take him down. Obviously, he needed to weaken him so that he could hopefully get a thrill ride at some point.
yeah, that was the plan. Didn't work. There was a bit where right near the end of it, there was a big power bomb. It was a close near fall, and then the as I think Latimer was shaping up to win the match, all of a sudden, of course, without the Southern Six appeared, and
Of course they did.
of course they did. If you're going to
But
have anyone ruining the matches, it would
I
be
just want to rewind it a little bit
go.
because Silas had Tom in a submission in the middle of the
Yes,
ring and it's looking a little bit, oh
shaky.
God, and then he gets him on a fish hook. And then there's a fucking ad break.
Oh yes, I did have break question
I was
mark
like, I've
exclamation.
literally written a fucking ad break in the middle, and like the submission hold just breaks, and there's an ad break, and oh my God,
I think they
it
might.
infuriates me. And I've said it before, and I will say it again, and I will say it many, many times. I understand there needs to be ad breaks, but surely there's a way where it doesn't have to be in the middle of a championship match. Man, it just pissed me off so much last night.
Or even in even in a the positions of the ad breaks. I mean, you can have an ad break in a title match, but not at certain points.
Oh, just no, no, you can't have an ad break in a
There we go.
title match. I'm sorry, but no.
I was trying to be, what's the
No,
word?
no, I'm not down with that at all. I'm not okay with that. So that really pissed me off last night.
I got to admit, I didn't enjoy the position of that particular ad break during that match.
No.
No, you are right. But as I was just saying, Osiris did do a big elbow off the top, which he
He
missed.
did. I know he never
Very,
was at the top rope. I was like, oh, this is good. And then
very
obviously
unusual.
he misses though, doesn't he?
He
So
does. He does miss, but it's very unusual for Silas to go to the top, which kind of gives you the magnitude of the match that you
yeah.
take those risks that you wouldn't normally take.
I very much feel like Silas is the one person who's given Tom a real run for his money lately.
Well, Kerry took him to the draw.
He was never gonna win. I'm sorry, Katie, but you
Yes.
weren't.
Yeah, and EC3's got some words for you anyway, mate. So, um, anyway, as we alluded to, of course, the Southern Six had to interfere. I mean, totally blasé, straight in front of the ref.
If I was Silas, I'd be raging. I know that you're like teammates and you're stablemates or whatever, and he did not look happy.
No, he
But
didn't.
obviously, like it was looking like there was a two count. I think there was a two count on Tom,
Yeah.
and then Tom kind of made the comeback, and that's when the boys jumped in, and I just why would you screw it up for your teammate like that, knowing that your interference was going to result in a DQ if you want him to get the belt back? So maybe they thought that Silas had had enough. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It was just kind of strange how it was just so wasn't even trying to be sneaky about it.
Yeah,
What-
maybe Kerry's just annoyed that how much like that he didn't take it to Tom last time. So
Could be, maybe. But Tom did clean house in this. He did get rid of him.
Yeah,
I
he
was
did.
expecting some help. I was expecting maybe Knox and Murdoch to come out and
Tom
help.
can take care of himself.
Yeah, Tom can take care of himself. And he's saying that, oh, we'll just have to mention while we're on the subject of Tom, A, happy birthday for last week. And B, your wife Camille is kicking ass in AEW. Looking forward to seeing her next weekend at All In. Yes, All In is next weekend. For those of you who don't know. Yeah, so congratulations to Camille as well. And yeah, happy birthday for last week, Tom. Don't know. How old was he? Do you know?
Don't have a clue.
Don't have a clue. No, neither do I. Not my age, so you're fine. Plenty of more years to go for you, Tom. Yeah, but DQ win for Latimer. So that's another win. So how many is that? That's got to be close to seven now, surely.
Maybe this whole 76 match with EC3 is closer than we think.
EC3 did come out and say that he really believes that Latimer's going to want it, but he doesn't want Latimer to have it because he's going to have nothing at the end of it. And he respects Latimer.
We'll
So
see. We'll see.
we will see. We will see if the lucky seven appears. So speaking of some new faces, if you saw some of the talking territories, you would have saw the next man on our screen, Anthony Katina, and you would have also seen the delight that is Chris Silvio.
He was looking very suave last night, all suited.
He was indeed, and he was saying that basically the guy's younger, faster, smarter than his opponent next week, and we'll run this down again. Jax Dane is going to go one-on-one with Anthony Katina. I mean, I'm not sure whether you'd
That's
want.
a cocky individual who fancies the chances against Jax.
He does. He does. He said he's going to set the stage and steal the show next week against Jack Stone. I mean, I don't know if you'd want you in. I mean, I'm not sure if this is his NWA debut, but if it is, I'm not quite sure I'd want it against Jack Stone.
He is a man mountain.
He certainly is. Good luck, Katina, next week because you're going to need it. Um, Again, watch the Talking Territories. You get to know Anthony Katina. I'll put the link up as well to get a watch in if you don't know who Anthony is. He's actually quite a nice person, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, go and watch that. So sometimes in wrestling, they bring in stuff that's going on outside of wrestling. And sometimes it makes it more, I don't know, makes it more, I suppose it has that sort of added realism to it, right? If the two people don't necessarily like each other outside of the ring, they bring it in and it kind of helps for a promo. It helps, build the money feud, and the sun is really shining in my face right now. But nevertheless, so Billy's with Kyle and Rush Feeman is there. Now we hadn't seen Rush in
Rush hasn't been around for quite some time, yeah.
yeah. Billy was saying that he received a letter from Rush saying that he was basically leaving wrestling. He was done. That was it. He was even retiring, is the word, and that
Yeah.
he was also plugging to bring back.
Brady Pierce.
Thank you, Brady Pierce. I did have that written somewhere, but obviously not. And to bring him back and let him run with the spectaculars. Rush then said, "I've never sent you a letter."
Yeah.
I,
No idea where it's come from.
No idea what's coming. Kyle's not believing him either because he's seen a letter that Billy is
Yeah.
talking about.
It's got Rush's signature on it, allegedly.
It does. Then Rush alludes to personal reasons and family reasons, which, yes, I think something's been happening out off screen, which
There was stuff online
yeah,
earlier on a while ago about
yeah,
various things going on, which we don't need to
ex
go into.
exactly that. Which
But
one?
he's also said that he will be back. He's not
Yeah,
retired,
no,
but he's still got some personal problems, so he's going to stay away for a little bit longer. So
yeah.
I'm not really sure what's going on here.
It was kind of weird as well because Billy said obviously the door's always open, and then he mentioned you know what your brother's like, and there was this awkward kind of I mean, he did say he sort of at that,
Yeah,
and I don't know. So
bit of a
perhaps,
strange segment, to be honest with you.
as I said before, bringing your personal stuff into wrestling, it does happen. It happens quite a lot. It's happened on many other occasions. I don't know. It just felt a bit. It felt awkward as it got near the end. It felt more and more awkward, is what I would say.
Yeah, watching it, it looked awkward as well, though, I thought.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like it wasn't rehearsed. That you'd normally go through the lines, to
Yeah.
go through it. You'd get your facial expressions and complexion sorted. It kind of felt that wasn't done.
Yeah,
before.
it was a strange one.
It
Very,
was
very
a
strange.
strange one. Will we see Rush again? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, whatever issues he's got, we hope they're being resolved, and there's no, just hope that everything goes okay for everybody involved in everything or whatever happened. And will we see Rush in NWA? We'll have to wait and see. I suppose that's a watch this space one, as we always say in life. The quick territory rundown. So,
I
uh,
love
oh,
these.
you love these.
I actually love these little rundowns so that you can find out who's where and what's going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a nice touch from them actually.
It is. There is an FTW NWA show, I think, in the 20th of September in Florida.
Mhm.
The Exodus Pro show that's coming up on the 24th in August in Cleveland has now been going to be streamed
On
on.
the NWA YouTube channel, which is awesome. I'm really, really pleased to hear that.
So, which we will then give you some of the results on the following Power review that we'll do. So we'll bring you up to speed because EC3 is defending the gold against Richard Holiday in
Yes,
the main
indeed.
event of that. So we will definitely have the results for that show on the 27th or 8th or whatever, whenever that is. The following week. So what are we doing? Because it's a Sunday.
Like a week, not this weekend coming, but the one
The
after.
one after that, so that particular episode that we do of Power following that show, we will give you the results of Exodus Pro Wrestling's event there as it's being streamed on the NWA YouTube, which is great for Exodus Pro and good for us because we get to see it.
It's exciting, and hopefully, maybe that's the start of the other territories shows maybe coming on to the YouTube channel and things.
Yeah,
So,
Joe Gazana Promotions is already on YouTube weekly. You go to Joe Gazana Promotions on YouTube, you subscribe to that. 35-minute shows are nice and
yeah,
smooth.
just a nice wee, I like that.
Yeah, nice, short and
Nice
sweet show.
time.
Bit like this one. A bit like our NWAs. They're very short and sweet, but they to the point. But yeah, Jokers and Promotions is doing that as well. NWA Chicago. They've done it in really weird dates though. They were doing it because this one's in October that
Yeah,
Chicago are running, doing that. And then obviously we've got Crossfire Wrestling August 29th and 30th. They've got 2 days of a show.
they have. Yeah, it's Sevierville in Tennessee, so that'll be fun at the showgrounds. So,
Go and see Kenzie and Kylie Page, as well as I think Hoovie's going to be there. Hoove and Tooth Guerrero, I believe. I
and
think that's the one.
Hoovy,
Good old
blast
Hoove
from the past.
going to be on there. We mentioned earlier on in the show that Carl Davis was going to talk to Murdoch. He had Aaron there as well, the manager of
No, he didn't have Aaron. He had more on.
Moron Stevens. Sorry.
Even the crowd got into that. I love that. I popped for that.
I love the heat that Moron gets from the crowd. He is the manager of champions, though. That's one thing I will.
But for how much longer?
Well, we don't know, and that's what's coming up. Obviously, there's BFT with Moron against Knox and Murdoch with Smalls that hits you in the balls coming up very, very soon. We are assuming at the territories that will be coming up, but I don't know how much of a prologue it is. They did kind of hint on the NWA 76 posters that Blunt Force Trauma were still the champions.
Hmm.
And that's kind of a thing where I'm not saying it lets itself down, but if you're going to promote NWA 76, perhaps make something on there that the champions at this time, or put something,
Yeah.
because they done this at the territory show, didn't they? We hadn't seen it yet.
They did, and they posted photos, and I was like, "Well, you've just given the results of like a show a few weeks before away," and NWA kind of commented on that and went, "Well, what have we given away?" And I was like, "Well, you've just posted a photo with the King Bees with
Yeah,
their belts at this show when we haven't seen
the
them
defense.
defending them the first time." So
Yeah, bit weird. So yeah, it's kind of weird, and I think they've done that again. I think they put the King Bees. They put all the champions on there, I suppose. Maybe
yeah,
this is obviously everything is subject to change, which is,
absolutely, absolutely.
and then if it happens, great. You kind of gone nicely into it because the King Bees were actually.
Yeah, sorry, just to
Oh,
interrupt. So
yeah.
before that, the JCP promotion came up again,
Oh yes, sorry, how could I forget?
which
We
was
had enough.
exactly they basically reran the promotion, the little promo with Joe and AJ and Casey from earlier. I was like,
Yes.
oh, a new promo, but it was exactly the same again. So they're obviously having to get a little filler for something.
Correct. And basically, though, that does bring me nicely on to running off next week's card because we did mention that Casey Kazana will be having a very special match next week. And in fact, he gets his shot at the £10 of gold next week against EC3.
Well, there you go. There's potential. There's another spoiler then, because we know that EC3 is defending at the
Well,
Exodus Pro show.
yes, and those of you that watched that have seen the EC3 interview that we've done would know that he's the world heavyweight champion still because we've spoke about it.
Yeah,
So we kind of know that Casey doesn't win the title. There you go.
I mean,
Unfortunately,
not
sorry
that.
for his
Sorry, Casey,
spoilers.
but not that I expected you to do it. But
No, yeah, and sorry for any spoilers out there. Anyone that's watching that was obviously going to watch next week. Yeah, apologies, but it's kind of it's out there anyway. So, and the fact that, as you said, Casey Free is defending against Richard Holiday next weekend kind of gives it away,
yeah,
right? Anyway, let's move on to main event time. King Bees, La Rosa Negra, Ruthie J. Love these four. Really good. The Bees, they're so powerful. The King Bee.
they're incredible. They really are. I really like them. They're Dallas girls, I think.
Mhm.
I think they are.
Yeah.
They train at Dog Pound Dojo, which is Road Dog, Ronnie Max, and Jazz's school. So you know that they're going to be good if they've got the two of them as their trainers.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be good for sure. They did take a bit of punishment in this. Though. It took a hot tag to start. You know, they did that. I can't
Mm.
remember which one it was. I think it wasn't Charlie. I'm pretty sure it was the other King Bee. Apologies, I can't remember the name. But she got the hot tag in the end to Charlie, and wow,
Charity.
charity.
Charity and Danny.
Thank you.
Charity King and Danny B, hence the King Bees.
Danny was the one that was gotten the brunt of the punishment in this match, and Rufy J and La Rosa Negra are no slouches when it comes to
Mm.
getting in there. They did give Danny a bit of a beating at one of this points, a hot tag to Charity, and Charity just comes in, and I think she's a strong woman, right, or some kind of power lift.
Yeah, well, she certainly looks it.
She certainly is. And eventually, I think it's a spike DDT that
Hmm.
ends this match. The King Bees do pick up the victory, retain the titles. And I'm going to say this every time. They're going to need to get some fresh blood in this division. Just
Yeah, I think so too.
or they're pretty empowered with Kenzie and Kylie could. So wouldn't that be weird if they win the championships?
Hmm.
Kylie wins the Burke Invitational, and then they have the champions going against each other for the Burke.
So if Kylie wins the Burke Invitational, then she'll go up against Kenzie for the belt,
Mhm. And they could win the tag team champions.
and one of them could have the Burke,
One of them will have the Burke either way.
potentially. Yeah.
Pretty Empowered could hold all the gold in NWA, all the women's gold. WA. Again,
Interesting.
it wouldn't be the first time. They did have that for a period of time when Ella was
Mhm.
there. Before King Bees would want to beat them, I believe, for the titles. Pretty sure they did.
I think they did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they certainly did. So interesting times. Yeah. So there is interesting stuff going on in the women's division. It's just women's tag teams are a bit thin on the ground.
They are a bit thin on the ground at the moment.
So we'd be interested to get some more names, maybe territories, people can come in. They do, whatever. Something could happen. I hope so, because it would be a shame for this. Yeah, I know we don't see him quite often. Sometimes we see him in quick spasm. It wasn't long ago that we saw the King Bees wrestle quite recently, I think it was.
Yeah.
But so sometimes we go through phases where we see him and then we don't see him
We'll
for
see them and then we don't see them for a few weeks. I think it's just the way the tapings and everything have
yeah.
all been
Mm.
done.
So we'll have to see how long it is. But next week we have already gone through, but we'll go through. So we do have Jax Dane against Anthony Katina, and a kind of another match that's been somewhat spoiled because we know that something happens later down the line, and that's Joe Alonso. We know that Joe's left the NWA. We know that he's lost the junior heavyweight championship. However, he's still the junior heavyweight champion at this moment in
Yeah.
time. And next week on Power, he does defend against Smalls and the Balls, Rolando, and someone that you said that that's been on NWA before, Soda Pop Hendricks, and he's going to be
Soda
one to watch out
Pop's
for.
brilliant. He's a staple on the kind of Dallas stroke Texas wrestling scene. He's part of Texas Style Wrestling, which is where I first saw him. He has been on NWA before. He's a talent. I love watching him work.
Speaking of TSW, I think there's going to be an announcement soon about some
Looks
action.
like it. Yeah.
Could we be adding another territory to the mix? Again, you can watch them on YouTube at TSW. Just put Texas Style Wrestling into YouTube. They will appear, like be like Joe Hendry, the
You'll see
same
some
name.
other NWA familiar faces on there if you check it out as well.
There you go. And just like I said, if you say their name, they will appear, a bit like another famous Scotsman over there at the minute. And the other match next week, we're going to see the Baron again
We are, yeah. Baron von Storm back in
against
action with the claw.
with the claw against Boz. I've never heard of Boz.
I don't know who Boz is either.
Maybe a territory wrestler, so we
Um,
may have to look up.
yeah.
Back to the territories, I believe, starts next week, which is good. I can't wait for that because we do get to see some talents, some new talents that
Some new
perhaps haven't.
faces. It's always good to see some new
Yeah,
faces.
some talents that we've interviewed to check out the Talking Territories playlist. There's a few wrestlers in there we have spoken to that are going to be on the shows going forward. So if you haven't seen them, go and check them out. That was another action-packed episode of NWA. 4 matches next week.
Yeah.
So we're going to be in for some good wrestling next week. Really good show again this week. Some good stuff as we build up to 76. Tickets are still available. NWA.
NWATix.com.
Thank you. I couldn't remember which tickets are
There's
liveevents.com.
the meet and greet and stuff available beforehand, which you don't need additional tickets for. If you have a show ticket, you'll be able to get the meet and greet. So I don't know who'll be there. They're usually a lot of fun. I've been to a couple myself, so it's always good to catch up and meet the guys and get photos and autographs and other merch and things, which is good.
Indeed. So make sure you do that. As I said, there's no additional cost to your ticket. So if you get a ticket, you'll be able to get a meet and greet at the same time. So that is even better news. Oh, one other name that's re-signed that I forgot, and I'm really excited. Colby Corina. And
There's never enough Colby on my TV. I love watching him wrestle.
and we can breathe a sigh of relief because we didn't want to lose Colby. He's a
Nah.
great wrestler. So good news for that. But for yeah, another great episode of NWA. Let's run this back again next week where we can go back to the territories.
And hopefully we'll have easier access to it next week.
Yeah, that probably wasn't on NWA. That probably would have been the app, I would say. There was the week before, I think, where it was a big issue with more of the NWA stuff
Yeah,
cutting out, honestly, a couple of weeks ago or whenever it was. But yeah, hopefully we'll have an easier ride. Won't be a thrill ride next week. It'll be an
I'm
easier
glad it won't
ride.
be.
Me too, to
I
be
don't
fair.
fancy being on the end of that.
No, me either. And on that note, everybody, this has been the NWA review on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Until next week, buckle down, stay safe. Bye bye.